Hi guys, I'm Jamie Oliver. I'm now going to show you why you should eat healthily.
I'm Adela, and I'm 9 years old. My mum left me to eat healthily. All my friends get to eat chocolate and sweets. It's not fair.
Oh, I do wish my daughter eated healthily. I just want her to live a long and fulfilled life.
Hi there, what would you like to eat? Big Mac, large fries, large milkshake, full story, donut, and 4 mayo sauces, please. Matilda has realised how she has become overweight and is very upset. So, what seems to be the problem then, Matilda?
I hope you eat it because I got really fat. I just want to be skinny like all the sexy supermodels.
No, starving yourself is not the answer. You should be on a balanced diet, including your 5 a day. Your meal should include protein, vitamins, and other things. Today we will start your new healthy diet.
Over the streets and far away, the Queen comes out for the royal wedding day. On a day so sunny, all so bright, a prince in red and his fiancée in white. Their big day arrived after much anticipation, the wedding that excited the whole entire nation. A carriage rolled up at Westminster Abbey, a church so royal and not too shabby. Royal celebrities and all different fellows, the Queen as bright as the sun all draped in yellow. Guards at the door with such huge hats, none compared to Beatrice, did you see the size of that? Harry was there too, so but what a shock. There was even a nun with a pair of Reeboks. Not a frame was seen, the whole country was happy, except for the bridesmaids who looked like she had an uncomfortable nappy. The time finally came for the woman of the hour, looked beautiful like she had bloomed from a flower. They took their vows to honour and protect, to the shock of the nation the Queen objects. Hours dragged on until the time finally came, they said I do a newfound fame. To the balcony they went, everyone cheers, as they kissed, all the women shedded tears. And so after many hours was the end of the day, we hope you enjoyed our not so well play.
Attention!
Mine is the first generation able to contemplate the possibility that we may live our entire lives without going to war or sending our children to war.
If you're walking down the right path, you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress.
War is all you made one man.
You do not do any more black shoe in which I have lived like a foot for 30 years, poor and white, barely daring to breathe or chew. Daddy, I have had to kill you. You died before I had time. Marble heading, a bag full of God, ghastly statue with one grey toe big as a Frisco seal.
So I could never tell you where you put your foot, your root. I could never talk to you. The tongue stuck in my jaw. It's stuck in barbed wire snare. Ick, ick, ick. I could hardly speak. I thought every German was you, and the language obscure. I have always been scared of you, with your bushwhacker, your gobbledygoo, and your neat moustache, and your Aryan eye, bright blue.
I was taking a stroll through the mountains in France 40 years ago, when I came upon a deserted region full of desolate wasteland where only lavender grew. I found an abandoned village where I looked for water, having run out the day before. I found a dried up well. There was no water there though. All life had disappeared. Nothing gave me hope of finding any water until I saw a black silhouette in the distance. I went towards it, where stood a shepherd. I don't know what I would have done without the aid of this stranger. He then led me to his cottage, where he drew his water from a very deep hole. He spoke very little, which is common amongst those who live alone. He was a widower. His house was very clean, and he offered me soup. It had been agreed that I would spend the night. The closest village was over a day and a half away. The shepherd put some acorns on the table, and seeing my puzzled look, told me he had planted trees. The next morning, I accompanied him on his day's work. He had meticulously counted out 100 perfect acorns and placed them all in holes in the ground he made. I didn't know whose land it was, he didn't know whose land it was, he did not care. For 3 years by then, he had been planting them the same way. He estimated that he had planted around 100,000 trees. Of that, only 20,000 had sprouted. He counted on losing another half of them. This left only 10,000 oak trees to grow. He chose to live a life of solitude after losing his wife and child. We parted ways the next day, and my journey ended with no further problems. That next year, the War of 14 came. It would later be known as World War I. I had forgotten about my encounter with the shepherd, to be honest. Trees weren't the first thing on my mind. Too many people died in those 4 years for me to think of the shepherd as alive. A middle-aged man seemed so old compared to a man of 20. After the war, I was recovering, which gave me time to think. While contemplating, I thought of the shepherd who planted trees. 10,000 oaks, I thought to myself, must take up a lot of space. At that point, I decided to take a trip back to Provence, where the shepherd planted the trees. I met back up with the shepherd, who was very much alive, much to my surprise. He now had no sheep and only kept bees. He told me that the war didn't disturb him at all, he had just planted his trees. Going back to the village, I saw water running in streams where it had once been dry. There were many saplings of different kinds of trees, many reaching my shoulders, the oaks towering above my head. I stayed for a while and recovered from my shell shock and depression from the war. After this, I visited him every year until I reached my middle ages. The forest was discovered and given government protection as they thought it was a natural phenomenon. The last time I visited him was June 1945. He was 87 years old. I found there was now a bus route to the shepherd's area. Everything had changed. I even had to ask someone if I was really in the right place. On the site of the ruins in 1913, I saw well-kept farms and an entirely restored village surrounded by thousands of trees. More than 10,000 people owed their happiness in the beautiful village to the shepherd. When I consider that a single man, relying only on his own simple physical and moral resources, was able to transform the desert into this land of Canaan, I am convinced that despite everything, the human condition is truly admirable. But when I take into account the constancy, the greatness of soul and the selfless dedication that was needed to bring about this transformation, I am filled with an immense respect for this old uncultured peasant who knew how to bring about a work worthy of God. And that was my encounter with Alzheimer's, who died peacefully in 1947 in a hospice in Babel.